Tremendous cute, tremendous cute, tremendous cute.
Who's your favorite pitmaster's favorite pitmaster?
Way! Yeah!
Pitmaster Tremendous Q, and today I got a super simple video for you guys. All right, we're cooking brisket. Now, we've done this a bunch of times before, but today we're doing it on the Grilla Grills Kong. Okay, now real quick, for all those that are new to the channel, I want to go ahead and thank you for stopping by. All right, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, cut on those notifications so you get notified when I drop all my latest content. For all my current subscribers, I appreciate you guys returning to the channel. Thank you very much. All right, so with the intro out of the way, let's jump right into the video. All right, so hey, we are back doing something very, very, very familiar, right? We got a brisket. We're just cooking it on a Kong, and this is the first brisket that I am cooking here in Belgium. Now, you guys can see it might not look like it from the video, but the briskets over here, I have to shop at the local commissary because briskets are not something that are what's the word I'm looking for? Familiar to Belgium. All right, I went to about 3 or 4 different local butchers. I've checked a couple of different grocery stores in the local area, the Carrefours, the Del Hayes, the OKs, the Littles. They just do not sell large cuts of barbecue meats that we are used to here in the States. You know, your pork ribs, your beef plate ribs, your briskets, your pork butts, etc., etc. You can find a leg of lamb, but normally it's going to be like a lamb shank. All right, so this brisket I got from our commissary, it's only like, I think this was 8 to 9 pounds, so it doesn't look like it's very small on the video just because of the angle that I'm taking this video at, but this is absolutely a smaller brisket, and it's going to be adjustment over here in Belgium that is something I'm definitely going to have to get used to. So a little bit of a disappointment, but we'll make it work. I'll probably just have to befriend a local butcher and make sure that I explain to him, hey, this is exactly what I'm looking for, and you know, if I can get past the language barrier, I should be all right. So we got the brisket all trimmed up, you know, while I was explaining to you guys kind of what the whole barbecue scene like is here in Belgium. So let's go ahead and get it on the Kong, and we will come back with our thermometers. My ThermalWorks signals is what I'm going to be using to maintain watch the temperature inside the Kong and make sure I monitor the temperature of the brisket as well. All right, so ThermalWorks is coming through with the wizardry. All right, and I want to take a very quick second and shout out to these spindles. Okay, the yellow and green spindles that I have the probe wires wrapped around. These things are lifesavers. Before I got them, you guys, it was an absolute struggle trying to make sure those wires were always tucked neatly inside the ThermalWorks case, and you know, when you go to pull them out, things were always tangled, etc., etc. Now, of course, they're threaded, they're metal in order to withstand the heat, so they're tough wires, but it's just a colossal pain trying to get these things unwound. So they're not very expensive. I think they were about $8 to $10 on ThermalWorks. I will put a link to these items in the description down below if you guys are interested, or you can go over to my website, tremendousq.com, and you can find them. You can find a link to them there as well. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and probe our brisket. Right, when I put the probe in, I want to make sure that I stick it through so that the point of the probe is right where the flat touches the point. Okay, but I don't want the point of the probe inside the fatty part. Right, there is a layer of fat in between the point and the flat that you don't want your probe sitting in, because it'll give a false read. Okay, that the temperature of that fat will not be the accurate temperature of the brisket. All right, so you get a couple of false readings, so make sure you keep that in mind. Pitmaster pro tip for you guys. All right, so now that we got the probes in, we're just gonna go ahead and let this brisket do its thing inside the Grilla Grills Kong. It's a beautiful day outside here in Belgium. Little movie magic. We'll fast forward and see that it is now time to get this thing wrapped. All right, it's got a pretty good color on it. You see the juices are starting to render and sit on top of the brisket, so I don't want it to get too much darker. So we're going to take it inside. We're going to get it wrapped inside of our butcher paper, and that's going to help it do two things. One, it's going to continue to cook, but it's going to significantly reduce the amount of smoke that is hitting the brisket. And then it's going to allow that brisket to breathe as well, all right? So this is why we use butcher paper. And me personally, I use butcher paper versus foil because I don't know. I've tried it with foil a couple of times, and I feel like you get a little bit of a roast beef flavor, and that's absolutely not what we want. That authentic barbecue flavor, right? That smoked flavor. So we got this thing wrapped up and back on the pit. A little more movie magic. Now, this is what I wanted to show you guys, all right? Look at that. I love butcher paper. You see all of that fat that has rendered down. That is goodness, okay? So we are going to make sure that we save this. I got Pitmaster Jr. that has come in, and he is going to cut a small slit in the butcher paper, and we're gonna make sure we catch all of that rendered fat, that rendered juice inside of that pan, because it's gonna help, one, with moisture retention when you go to reheat the brisket, and then two, you can use it as like a roux if you want to use it to make like a gravy or something like that. You're gonna have a really good smoky gravy that you can make for potatoes, etc., etc. Look at that. That is awesome, you guys. And if anybody ever tells you that, hey, I like brisket, but it's always just it's too dry. Well, try having them cook it with butcher paper and see if that fat rendering out, if it doesn't help completely change their opinion on this cut of meat. All right, so let's go ahead and get this thing sliced up. I'm actually going to use a little bit more movie magic and fast forward through this thing after I show you guys one of the little end pieces, because for some odd reason, after I showed you guys this piece, the camera just did not want to act right. All right, I couldn't get it to focus again, and I just wasn't paying attention. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys this end piece. All right, go ahead and zoom in. There we go. All right, so you got that nice. The meat is starting to break apart, but it was also holding together under its own integrity, basically. So I'm gonna show you guys again with a little bit larger of a piece. Right, that's perfection right there. Pencil thickness. You bend it over your finger, and it bends, but it does not break. It holds together under its own integrity. Right. So you guys made it this far. Hey, go ahead and smash that subscribe. Cut on those notifications, okay? I really appreciate you guys' support. This is the finished product. This is the brisket on the Grilla Grills Kong. I love the cooker. It did an excellent job. It is produced a product that I'm absolutely used to. Okay, so here's one more bend test for you guys, because I feel like you just can't do this enough. Me as a pit master, this is probably one of my favorite things to do besides unwrapping the brisket. It's like Christmas, right? So little pull apart, you got a slight tug, but again, it comes apart easily. You guys, that's goodness right there. I love brisket. I'm so happy that I found these at our local commissary. We're gonna make sure that we keep cooking them. And yeah, I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next video here on the channel, all right? Peace.